Charles Steinmetz had an ally in the form of Schenectady's first and last socialist mayor, George Lunn. Lunn was elected in 1911, and Steinmetz was appointed to the Board of Education in 1912 and elected its president. In 1913, Lunn created the Board of Parks and City Planning, naming Steinmetz to the board, which then elected him chairman. George Lunn was a progressive and forward-thinking mayor, a man of great energy, who appreciated the same in Steinmetz. Together, they would change the face of Schenectady permanently, steering it towards the future. The first step was to get public approval and the approval of the aldermen on the Common Council for the planning and building of Central Park. Above minority objections and heated debate, an ordinance providing for the acquisition of lands east of McClellan Street, running along the length of Bradley Boulevard and beyond, and for a section of the Furman family's farmland just above Division Street, was passed. When Lunn was defeated for re-election by J. Teller Schoolcraft in the fall of 1914, Steinmetz was removed from his positions, but the train that was the park system was already picking up steam. Parts of the parcels running quite a distance east of McClellan Street included a small, sluggish creek and some swampland unfit for farming purposes. In the late summer and early fall of 1914, the tedious work of clearing and draining the parklands commenced. Trees and brush were cut down and hauled away, and swampy land was claimed by the containment and diversion of the small creek, which flowed down through Union College grounds and from there into the Mohawk River. By mid-spring of the following year, everything was completed. On Monday, May 16, 1915, Central Park was officially opened. Initially, the park was comprised of cleared land and a lovely little lake constructed from damming the small creek, which had been cleared and unblocked. In appreciation, Lunn was re-elected by the people in 1916, and Steinmetz became president of the Common Council. He was also reappointed to the school board and again elected its president. Also in that year, Lunn appointed Steinmetz as the president of the new Parks Department for the city. Steinmetz met the requirements of that job zealously, as well as his other civic duties, his employment by General Electric, seen here with Albert Einstein, and his instructional position in electrical engineering at Union College. Steinmetz maintained a close association with Central Park for the rest of his life until his death. Charles Proteus Steinmetz died in his sleep on October 26, 1923, of heart failure. Governor Alfred E. Smith of New York is quoted as saying, "He always wanted to help everybody." And a friend said, "Chapters have been written of his greatness intellectually, as many more could be filled with his kindnesses. Dwarfed perhaps in body, but with a heart as big as the universe, and a soul as pure as a child's." When the park opened on May 26, 1915, the main feature of the park was the lake. It bordered the Furman farmland, as is evidenced by the cows lying down in the pasture above it. Eventually named Iroquois Lake, this beautiful and tranquil body of water saw year-round use for fishing, skating, and swimming. As is evidenced by this wintertime photo looking down the lake toward what would become the swimming pool and duck pond, one can see the natural origins from the dammed creek. The lake was beloved of boys and girls from its inception. Here we see several boys playing ice hockey and, further back, we see girls banded together skating. In this 1916 photo, we see the lake covered with snow as an attraction for those people who wanted to walk in the open. In this 1916 photo, we see the snow-covered lake, then as now, as a focal point, a gathering place for people to meet, talk, stroll, and take in the beauty of nature. Circa 1916, a man and woman skate on the ice to the admiration of onlookers. Boys will be boys. Here some youngsters manned several broken ice floes in a race across the thawing lake. Over the ensuing years, bridges were added over the creek's mouth, providing a scenic yet functional design. The first such bridge was a wooden bridge, its latticework frets lending charm and character to the still largely pastoral setting. This bridge was later replaced by the stone bridge, a bridge that is still functioning today, as it has been for the last 80-plus years. The stone bridge has also been the backdrop for numerous wedding photos. Docks were also added to facilitate swimming activity in the lake. Here we see Mayor Lunn, about 1916 or 17, at the Central Park swimming pool, which was little more than an area of the lake set aside for swimming. Mayor Lunn's beaming smile is indicative of his pride in the accomplishment of providing a magnificent park for Schenectady. By the early 1920s, there were more and more water features added, such as a water slide seen here behind the children in this photo to entertain Schenectady's school children during the hot summers. As more became known about contaminants to be found in waterfowl refuse, the Parks Department erected a retaining wall, seen here in the back of this photo, as well as dumped clean sand in the swimming pool.